if you don't mind, Christy, can you just tell everyone who you are and where you are from and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Christy Healy. I am from Holland, Michigan, originally, living in Greenville, South Carolina now. Sorry, let me turn that off. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, physio, and a retired professional bicycle racer. And I do wellness and performance coaching. So same as you, but with the performance end as well.
Fantastic. It's quite an impressive resume.
Yeah, that's what got me here.
Yeah, I mean, you're a former, as you said, professional cyclist.
Yes.
So honestly, I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time. I've been meaning to get you on because of your background, etc. So can you just bring us back to, I guess, that 2017, your body crashed. Can you just explain to everyone, if you don't mind, what happened?
Yeah, it's funny. I was journaling right before this, and I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna have an emotional response to like going back there. So this will be interesting. But anyway, so I was in 2017. I was in near the height of my cycling career, and I was under a lot of stress emotionally and physically. I was riding my bike more hours than I was sleeping. I had a really aggressive coach who was always wanting me to be leaner and leaner. I was running around 9.5% body fat, and that was like with calipers, not like the scale, like actual 9.5%.
That's
Yeah,
for a woman.
yeah, and I was, we have a lot of great technology in cycling, and so you can measure, like you literally measure the work output in the pedals. You measure the force and the power, and that converts to kilojoules, and then you subtract the wind, and so you know the actual calories you're burning. And so I was burning probably around 1,600 calories a day on the bike outside of my BMR, my basal metabolic rate, and then I was eating around 900 a day. Honestly, I don't know how I was living, but I was crashing a lot.
Gosh. So
Yeah.
your output from all the high intensity training was 1,600 calories, and your input from your calorie intake was 900.
Right. And so I basically wasn't even feeding my resting metabolic rate.
This is not uncommon actually for a top athletes. Okay. It's called
Yeah.
low energy availability. It's when your body does not have enough energy to support all physiological functions to maintain optimal health. That is uncommon for top level athletes.
Yeah. And then, in the 2000s, even 2010, 2015, and cycling culture is a little bit old. It's dominated by old men, to be honest. And so the idea of, if you're not having your period, it's changing now, but then then you're lean enough. And if you're still having your period, well, you still have weight to lose. And it's so unhealthy to think of it that way, but that's like how I was brought up through the sport.
So this was since you were a kid.
No, sort of. I started cycling when I was 19, but I came from swimming before that, and swimming was kind of the same way. I swam in college. And it was just like, if you're still having your menstrual cycle, you still have weight to lose. So.
Okay, so I think it's called amenorrhea or something, when a woman loses her cycle from stress from under eating and overtraining.
Yeah.
You were burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
What happened in terms of, you had a specific, is it hyperadrenic POTS? Is that the term?
Yeah. Yeah. So the best we can figure out, and it took years to figure out, but sorry.
Okay.
The best we can figure out is a virus, because I was basically so compromised. A virus probably attacked my vagus nerve, which causes like complete body shutdown. So your autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for all of your involuntary activity, like your breathing and your heart rate and your blood pressure, it just wasn't working. And so I would just be in bed all day for months.
You had low blood pressure, and were you on
Yeah,
to give
yeah.
you
And
medication to bring up
the
your blood
main
pressure?
thing, yeah, the main thing was low blood pressure, and that so like the arteries, they need to constrict to accommodate, pumping blood against gravity. And so they weren't constricting. So I just felt exhausted and like I was going to pass out all the time. And like, even if you go to some of like my old Facebook videos, I hate it. You can hear me panting behind the camera, like, and it's like, it's awful. Like I'm supposed to be this amazing athlete, and like I'm panting behind my Facebook lives. It's But like now I respect it, but I would hear it then and it was awful.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Gosh, I mean, the reason why I really wanted to bring you on as well is because our demographic of clients are, honestly, they are women, and a lot of them have health issues and come from a background of under eating and chronic dieting, and they do overtrain, and a lot of them are struggling to get the concept of reverse dieting into their heads. They don't understand that when they're coming into our program, we're asking them to eat more food and exercise less. What would you say to them, Christy? Because clearly, look what happened to you. I mean, it's metabolic adaptation. It's when your metabolism slows down from under eating.
Yeah, yeah.
What message do you have for them that are saying, I don't want to reverse, I don't want more calories, I want results now?
I would say that there are plenty of coaches that won't reverse you. Like I've had lots of coaches, and they were fully aware of how little I was eating, and they were very okay with it. Or they would think like, oh, you didn't log. Oh, I just figured you didn't log that day. And I'd be like, no, I didn't eat. And they'd be like, oh, well, try to eat next time. That this was my coach before, Georgina. So if people want that, like honestly, like this kind of program where the coaches are patient enough to reverse you and invested in, frankly, the shitstorm that comes with reversing, because I reverse people in our program, and it takes a really strong supportive coach to reverse someone, and that's not common. It's not common. And so if you want to go do a juice fast or a 7-day cleanse, like go. But having like a person who is going to be patient and supportive of you, when you're having those meltdowns because your clothes still don't fit, because you're not in weight loss, that's uncommon. And if they're going to put in the work, so should you.
Yeah, it's a tough job as a coach, as you know. You have
Yeah.
to be compassionate and patient, show empathy. And because you actually initially signed up with us for 1 month
Yes.
in February 2021, and you're still here 18 months later. You
Yeah.
re-signed again. Well, that's incredible. What did Georgina do in that first month? I'm just curious to
Well, so I mean, I've had lots and lots of coaches. And all of my coaches have been super aggressive, and I'm very much someone that feeds off of that energy. Like if you say go, I'm like, I'm already in the air. Like let's do it. And I've gotten really good at like shutting off all physiological signs that say like, hey, you should probably slow down. And so all of my coaches had been that way, and that's kind of like what people think of when they think of a coach. And so I knew I knew what I needed. I knew I needed to slow down, and I knew I needed to I needed a really soft handling. And I was scared because, and my husband was scared too, because we wanted to make sure that I didn't get involved in another relationship that just ran me into the ground. So that's why we wanted to do the 4 weeks, to make sure that it was the right temperament and a supportive personality, and not like a, rip the doors off personality. And in that first month, she was exactly what I needed. Just super soft spoken, but direct. My cardiologist is soft spoken and indirect, and then I'll mess up and she'll be like, oh, I kind of tried to tell you not to do that. But Georgina will be like, no, don't go do that. But then again, she's always telling you no, which is good and which is what I need. So,
Exactly. I'm so glad that you created that bond, that connection.
Yeah. And kudos for her, because I imagine I was a nightmare to work with. I mean,
well, being a coach is not an easy job. You have to be kind of a therapist in a way as well, don't you?
yeah. And I would be nervous to work with another wellness coach, but she's awesome about it.
Yeah. But okay, like it's not as simple as like losing weight and losing body fat. It's not as simple as eating less and moving more, is it? Like we see, like it's so much, it goes so deeper, doesn't it? Like in terms of hormonally, metabolically, stress is a huge factor, isn't it? Your body is just, it will not respond if you're under stress. It's clear like with you what happened.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. One of my professors in school said, women's bodies are like a half a generation evolved from men's. And I didn't really understand that at the time. And I'm very big into equality. And that's actually a huge issue in cycling right now, is men's and women's equality and transgender. And it's just such a big thing. But anyway, so when he said that, I was like, oh, come on, we're all the same. Some of us are just XX and some of us are XY and otherwise. But then, you look at, like, if you do, like a 20-hour fast for a man, which most studies for fasting are in men lean out and they, their bodies, they keep running at that same metabolic rate with a 20-hour fast most of the time. And if you do that to a woman, she, you're not going to get a woman below like 26% body fat doing 20-hour fasts regularly. It's just, that's cool if you want to get down, but our bodies are evolved to be more efficient. And that means, unfortunately, in our culture, putting on weight in stressful times.
Yeah, exactly. And a woman's his job is to have a baby eventually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll do everything. Their bodies will do everything in their power to, when under stress, to
right,
shut everything down.
Right. Yeah. If there were a famine, a man would just wilt away and die. No offense. Where a woman would, any little bit of calories she would get, she would hoard and turn to body fat and survive much better.
Well,
it's kind of a bummer because we don't live in that.
You see some guys lose 6 pounds in a weekend, and then a woman would do similar and she'd be up 2 pounds.
Yeah, from inflammation.
Yeah,
her body's saying, no, this isn't working.
But you even had certain GI issues too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you have Crohn, or SIBO or IBS?
I had SIBO, and I'm still a little intolerant, but not nearly as bad. So I had bacterial overgrowth in my small intestine. And that's when the bad bacteria overpopulates compared to the good bacteria. And that is actually a symptom of your autonomic nervous system not working. So again, the autonomic nervous system is involuntary movement. So moving food along your digestive system, that just wasn't happening, which was allowing the bad bacteria to feed on sugars longer than they normally would, which was producing overgrowth. So I still have to be a little careful, but not too bad.
you went through a lot of tests, did you? Did you do GI
Yeah, yeah, a
for,
lot of,
for, for your gut health?
yeah, because we couldn't figure out what was going on.
And
But
with all were, I'd imagine your sex hormones were bottomed out too, were they?
yeah, yep. So I had the Dutch Plus test done right before we started, and everything was just really flatlined except for my cortisol, which it was interesting. It was dumping, so I was really high in the mornings, like too high, and then I would bottom out like 2 hours later and be like zero from like 11 a.m. to the rest of the day. So, and that's a stress reaction. So,
So how was the, you mentioned 900 calories. I think Georgina got you up to 2000 or something. Maybe I'm wrong, or 1900.
yeah,
We didn't do that straight away, obviously. We did it over a period of time.
yeah, we did 50 calories a week, which was, I know some people do 100. I do 50 calories a week with my people. It's easier mentally, and then they're not gaining weight. And then, they start to get excited. I got excited towards the end.
I seen your photos. You stayed the same weight, but the body recomp is clear.
Yeah,
You've got body fat and you've gained some lean muscle.
yeah.
I'd imagine your energy was with the extra carbohydrates in your body. It's 1100 calories or more. Were you feeling? How were you feeling in terms of your mood? Was it change?
Honestly, I felt like crap because I know you're probably weren't hoping for that answer, but so what happens is, so my blood pressure is low, and so when I would eat, especially if I would eat carbohydrates, all the blood would go to my belly, and I would just be like so dizzy and sleepy, and I would need to go lie down after naps. And poor Georgina, she's so tolerant. She would check in on me and I'd be like, yeah, I ate breakfast and now I had to lie down for 3 hours.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, yeah. And she'd be like, okay, well, so we started doing, little tiny meals every couple hours, and that really helped.
Just to stabilize your blood sugar level.
Yeah, so well, no, so that I wasn't putting large amounts of food into my stomach. So it wasn't my blood sugar, but
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
yeah, we didn't want too much blood going to my digestive system. So I felt like crap at first, and it wasn't probably till at least 6 months that I started having more energy, I would say.
And
So
what about exercises then? I mean, was it hard to go from, I'd imagine you were training, I'd imagine 4 or 5 hours a day to a lot less and a lot lower.
yeah,
Was that difficult?
it was really funny because I started going, well, first, like exercise was not even, it wasn't even on the table. First we had to figure out who I was as a human being without exercise. And that was, I like had to redefine myself as a human being. And that was really hard and really emotional. And yeah, like if you remove the core of you, well, who are you? So that was really hard. And then when we started going to the gym, since we had done the groundwork of me realizing I'm still a valuable human being without intense amounts of exercise, and in this body that I don't even identify with. Like I gained weight so fast because I was like running parts of myself into the door. I wasn't used to like extending laterally. But anyway, so when we did go to the gym finally, and I was strong enough, I was really excited just to be in the culture. And I had to wear a binder to keep the blood flow up to my head. And Georgina made a program where all of my exercises I did laying down, and I went to like a 24-hour gym with all these like big dudes, and like I'm very familiar in a weight room. So I'm in there, like they're at the squat rack, like getting crazy, and I'm like lying down next to the squat rack with my 2-pound weight doing lying down exercises. And it was, I could see the humor in it, and I knew that long term, like I was gonna get better. and we had put in the work in my brain beforehand to make sure that I felt solid as a human being before putting myself in that potentially humiliating situation.
Yes, it sounds, well, you had a great support system with Ben and Georgina and Ben is your husband.
Yeah. Ben's been a huge part of it the entire time, and Georgina recognizes that, and they kind of leverage each other, which is really kind of cool. I think they've spoken a couple times, but anytime I'm wanting to do something stupid, like over exercise or under eat, Ben will, like, oh, why don't you run it by Georgina? And instead of, because he knows I won't listen to him. And then Georgina will, oh, well, why don't you ask Ben for a little bit of support, if I'm not feeling good or something like that. So, yeah.
Very lucky. Let me see if there's anyone who has any questions in the group. Has
Okay.
anyone have questions for Christy about reverse dieting or adrenal fatigue or overtraining? Comment below, guys. I can relate to you in a way. I had a career-ending injury in 2009. I played at a relatively high level in a Gaelic sport back home. I injured my leg and I had 2 massive operations. But on my rehab, I went 21 days in a row to the gym. Like I was in the gym 4 or 5 hours a day. I ended up breaking my neck. My C7 vertebrae because I just couldn't stop.
Right.
Same mentality.
It's who you were.
Mm.
And you needed that identity back. I totally get that.
And everything happens for a reason, I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to help nearly as many people if this wouldn't have happened to me. I think good coaches, I think the best coaches, over education, they've lived through some sort of adversity.
Exactly.
And they can call on that when they're helping people in tough spots. I think that's really important.
I 100% agree. Let me see if there's any other questions. I think that's it. We've kind of gone overtime. I know you're a busy woman.
That's okay.
Has anyone any questions? One last time here. I'm sure we can comment on the replay in the comment section, replying to people. But Christy, I love your story and I have great respect for you and you've been in our program for so long and I really admire your mentality, genuinely. Thanks for coming on today, sharing your story.
Thank you. Yeah.
God bless.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.